Hey family, happy Tuesday. I posted a quote on Instagram yesterday that highlighted Marianne Williamson's quote that I love. And she says, and you know this, and if you know it, you can say it with me, but our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. We're going to jump into this because part of having the ability to see ourselves as powerful is the courage to rise instead of shrinking, regardless of whatever room that we're in. We're going to talk about mastering public speaking skills for women leaders right after today's intro. See you in a bit. You are excellence. Your mind is of excellence. Your visions are of excellence. Your unique superpower is nothing short of excellence. You amplify a voice of excellence. Your contribution to this world will be of excellence. You will achieve your highest goals and desires with excellence. Excellence in everything, every time. It is Tuesday, and that means I get to spend my evening with you live streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. If I have not yet met you, my name is Lanita Hostin, and I have the awesome privilege of what we'll be transitioning to this year is helping women leaders build their audacity to use their voice in any room. Really excited about that. This year celebrates my 10th year public speaking, and I'd say out of the 10, I'd say 5 of them were done professionally, and they define professional by you being a part of the association and being paid to do it. And so I feel like there's power in women having the audacity to use their voice. So you'll notice that my content is shifting to particularly focus in on women and the courage around using their voice. If you are watching live, go ahead and let me know that you're here. You can type in the comments, hey, I am here. I'm looking at the comments to see you. If you happen to catch tonight's replay, you can definitely type in hashtag replay and let me know so I can give you your credits. If you're watching for the first time, let me know where you're watching from. I'm based in Baltimore, Maryland, but it's always a pleasure to see where you all are streaming from. So I want to say this, I feel like I posted a LinkedIn article yesterday that talked about 9 reasons why building the skill of public speaking is a non-negotiable. Meaning it's not up for debate, it's not up for challenge. You don't get to pick or choose if it's something you want to try, but the skill of having it, powerful. I'll give you 2 of the 9 that I share, but one is that people automatically deem you as competent. Isn't that crazy? Like, these are not what I think. This is what I've absorbed. I've observed people, how they respond. But not only that, it's also been some of my experience. People automatically deem you as competent when you have public speaking skills. Another one that I shared is that it transfers into other areas of your life, like personal relationships. When you learn the art of communicating, when you're attempting to communicate something that really matters but is sensitive, you deal with it delicately. So I think public speaking is a powerful transferable skill that we all should be learning. Even if you don't want to make money from it, you just want to get better at it for whatever reason. I think it's a powerful skill. So tonight I want to give you 3 ways in which you can begin to master. Now, let me preface this by saying that mastery takes time. If anybody told you can master something quickly, just go ahead and stop listening, because that is not true. It takes time to cultivate something so intently that you are somewhat free of fear related to it, because to me, that's mastery. When there's an absence of fear related to something, no matter how you switch it up, change it, what you put it in, you've mastered it. And so 3 ways you can begin your journey to master public speaking. That's our topic for tonight. Hey, Shonda, good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. Always good to see you guys. And thank you again for writing that in the comments. Hi, Miss Denise from Lanham. Thank you so much for stopping by as always. So good to see you. Okay, let's jump in because I don't want to keep you long. I want us as women to get in the habit of exercising our voice. This doesn't mean that when we speak, there has to be a microphone. The intent of a microphone is to amplify volume no matter the size of the room. So you don't need a microphone to have a one-on-one conversation or a 1 to 3 or even a 1 to 10. You don't need a microphone. So the exercising of your voice is just any opportunity that you have to speak up and use your voice. You should be doing that. So it starts really small. If you have a traditional form of employment and there are opportunities for you to lead or participate in staff meetings, if you've been invited to share your skill or expertise that you contribute to your department, volunteering to do that, whether that's virtually or in person. So that is you exercising your voice. If you're active at your church and you have an opportunity to do a small group and your feedback or opinion is asked, that is you speaking up, unmuting on Zoom, or standing up to share. Every opportunity that you have to exercise your voice is going to allow you to begin to develop some comfortability with public speaking. And that's definitely a good start. Here's what my girlfriend, Gloria Mayfield Banks, said.
I remember when I first started and my presentation had to get better and had to get better. OMG, it had to get better. So I want to tell you the best piece of advice I ever received was from Les Brown when it came to speaking. And his conversation with me said, speak as often as you want, Gloria. Speak as often as you can. How many of you right now are nervous about taking the mic? Be honest, put your hands up. Nervousness is okay. Some of the best presenters are nervous. The reason I wanted you to raise your hand is because you can't change what you're not willing to acknowledge. And often in our industry and often in our world, we're afraid to let other people see our weaknesses, but that's how you get good, you guys. And that's how you get other people to invite you to take the mic. Your skill set will come from preparation and practice.
Y'all already know those are my favorite words, practice. Your skill set will come from preparation and practice. We were talking about that all last week. Gloria Mayfield Banks is probably the #1 Black woman in sales for Mary Kay. So she didn't start off as a speaker. She started off in a multi-level marketing company, and she used speech to elevate her business and change her life, to be quite frank. I met her in 2019 at SpeakerCon. It was the first time I saw, to be honest, someone who was in the same space as me, and I was in awe of their ability to captivate an audience. So I've been following her ever since. But practice and preparation. She said, whenever you have the opportunity to speak, you should speak. And here's the thing. It's going to be uncomfortable. Like, your heart is going to flutter. Sweat is going to be like developing under your armpits. Out of nowhere, your voice is going to get shaky. All those things, your legs are going to feel like noodles. Your hands are going to be sweaty. Your thoughts are probably like, sometimes you won't even hear yourself you can't even think through your thoughts. Sometimes you're so nervous. That is normal. You got to get to the point where you feel that, and that doesn't stop you from speaking up. And so when you have very small environments where what you're saying does not, it has nothing to do with, let me rephrase that. When you have small environments where your vulnerability and your comfortability with practice is, you feel good about that, that's the environment that you should exercise your voice. So if you are a soccer mom, if you are a cheer mom and they have opportunities, you guys have parent night, that's a perfect time to practice. If you go to the HOA meetings, great time to practice. So it doesn't have to be at work, doesn't have to be like in front of your audience, your traditional audience. But whenever you have a chance outside of that time, you should be practicing. Let me catch up on these comments because I am missing y'all. Hey, Kelly from Houston. So good to see you. Hey, Chanel. Chanel is a frequenter. So good to see you. Thank you for joining tonight. And hey, Caressa. Caressa is a family. Caressa said, this is great. I just told a friend that you were the GOAT. Oh, thank you. And I was going to hire you to help me with my signature message. My friend Crystal, who is on here, told me you were live. First of all, shout out to Crystal for sharing that. And I would absolutely love to help you with your signature message. I feel like one thing that you gotta have is a really strong keynote, a really strong keynote. All right, let's jump in. So that was exercising your voice. And here's the second thing I feel like that helps us master our public speaking skills. It's developing your confidence holistically. So let's start from the obvious. No one wants to stand in front of a group of people when we don't like the way we feel and or look. As a women, men do it all the time. Most of my friends in this business are men. I don't know, it just happens that way, but listen, they could go up there, hair not cut, their suit was left at the airport, and it doesn't affect them. They are so wired so differently. But let me tell you something. When my hair not done, I don't feel my best unless I look my best. And that's just one part of confidence is your physical body, not only the looks, but the physical health of your body also. But not only that, how you feel in the inside. I always think like we could mask the idea of having confidence, having self esteem, having a strong sense of self. We could mask that, but to be honest, that's exhausting. I think we have a more powerful and effective use of our voice when we absolutely feel the way that we are communicating. So, a holistic building of confidence might be okay, if you find yourself circulating thoughts about yourself that are not healthy, reframing those. So maybe before you start exercising your voice, you're walking through ways to feed your mind about who you are. So right behind me is my excellence creed. This is something that I say when I travel the country, and I wrote it for myself, but it empowers students. What can you say to empower your mind that's feeding you, building your confidence? So when I say my excellence creed, I say my mind is of excellence. My visions are of excellence. My unique superpower is nothing short of excellence. I amplify a voice of excellence. Like that's for me. I wrote that for me because there are moments when I also have that doubt and insecurity and discomfort. And that's my way of feeding my mind. So it lives in my subconscious. So consciously, I behave from that kind of confidence. And that's a holistic approach. So before I get dressed, now I don't say the excellence creed all the time. But when I'm in those moments where I am doubting my abilities, I sure enough pull that thing out. And so what do you have to do? If it's getting more exercise, if it's walking longer, if it's parking further, what do you have to do so that holistically you feel confident and you're not just saying it? Because it will, how you feel about yourself. Oh, this is good, man. How you feel about yourself, it comes up when you are in front of other people. Now, I like studying speakers. I study body language. I It doesn't feel good because sometimes I just want to hear a person without seeing everything else, but I can't unsee it. I can tell when a woman is uncomfortable. I can tell when she's insecure. It's very obvious about it's in her stance. It's what she does with her hands. It's her ability to make eye contact or lack thereof. It's very clear. It's also how she's dressed. So if I can see it, I don't think I'm a magician, to be honest. I do think I'm very observant, but I don't think I'm the only person in the world who can see that on people. And so that's why I feel like it should be holistic. If you want to build the skill of public speaking, it got to start from the inside because people will see you, they will see more than what you physically show up as. So definitely take the time to do that soul work. Hey, Taryn. Thank you for joining us tonight. All the ladies are representing. I love it. Hi, Crystal. You must have been the one that stopped by and shared the live. I appreciate you. And hey, Mom. Oh, when Mom takes on advice, it must be nice. Thank you, Mom, for stopping by. All right. I want to share this. If you are looking for ways to holistically build your confidence and to actually practice the skill of public speaking, that's literally what I've created. It's called Stage Power Intensive. It's a full day intensive. And you can sign up to be the first to be notified for our next session, which will happen in the fall. The intensive is perfect for you if you own or operate a small business, you experience any anxiety when called to speak in front of other people, you have a desire to grow your confidence. You want to improve your articulation and pronunciation. You want to work on your tone, master, begin to have an awareness, not master, begin to have an awareness about your body and what it's communicating when you're in front of people, then Stage Power Intensive is for you. And you can join the wait list so that you can be notified at the next opening. And you can do that at, I'll pull it back up. You can do that at lanitahostin.com/SPI, which is Stage Power Intensive /fall. And that'll get you on the list for the next event. And if you have any questions, you can certainly drop them in the comments. I will answer them. Okay, the last one. And I mentioned this a few weeks ago about how I don't study other speakers. I've never sat and studied anybody. I also believe that it's probably why I don't sound like anybody. All of the greats that you can probably name, I've either met them, been in rooms with them, or I know who they are. And I never studied them. What I did do, I read a lot of books on public speaking. I read a lot of books on body language. I read a lot of books on keynote mastery. And then I started to meet those people. So I wasn't even thinking about studying them. But what happens when you study another speaker, you can, without thinking, adapt their tone and their cadence and their body movement. I see this a lot in church environments where if you've been under someone for some time and you've watched their messages for some time, you begin to formulate your messages very similar to your leader, and your body has similar movements. It's very interesting, but some pastors have very distinct movements. Like my first pastor, he had this thing where when he was saying something and he knew he was about to get under our skin, he'd start scratching his head. Or if he was making a point and he knew that he might be rubbing us the wrong way, he would lean on the podium. Those are very distinct body movements. And what happens when he was grooming preachers, they would do the same thing because that's what they saw. Nothing wrong with that, but I feel like you have your own cadence, your own natural body movement, your own tone, your own way of communicating your message. I think it's best to study yourself. So I think that we should closely observe other speakers, but we should not study them, meaning watching so intently that we're like, oh, look how they do that. I like how they do that. I'm going to try doing that. I think we should observe instead. So the distinction between the two, an observation is just you making notice or examining a way that a person might transition topics, a way that they may have a smile on their face as they're speaking. If you notice during my podcast, I'm speaking and smiling at the same time. That affects my tone. And so journalists do the same thing. And so when you're observing that, you may also observe that while I'm sitting in my house, I'm still using my hands to talk, even though I could completely put them down here. That doesn't change anything, but that's just how I use my hands. So I think when you can begin to observe people or other women closely, just look at how they are not only using their body, but how their body is complementing what they're saying. If there's someone that you spend a lot of time with, whether that be in social environments or in professional environments, just watch how they are able to use their voice and the little nuances about it. Do they say ums or ahs? Are they comfortable with pauses? Do they make really good eye contact? Are they creative in how they're going to put the group together? But those observations will help grow your confidence because you may also start noticing that they might also be nervous. They do say and ahs. Or maybe they also trip over their words, or you can tell that their palms are sweaty. And those things are signs that we're human, not that we are incapable of developing the skill of public speaking, just that we're human. I love that. Chanel said, this is good. It has to start from the inside. Yes, it absolutely does. Okay, is the audio still breaking up now? Can you guys hear me okay? Let me know if you can hear me okay. So yes, observing other speakers. So what I did today before I jumped on the podcast, I watched a video of a saleswoman Her name was Molly. I can't remember her last name. Just to see how does she start before she begins her remarks. What did she do when she arrived in front of the group? Now I look at things like that. I look at how she engages her audience, and I also looked at how she told her stories. But studying would have been watching it very closely or watching more videos of hers. Studying will also look like um, almost, I don't like this word, but almost, you know how when you have your favorite artists and you listen to their album over and over again, and then you go pull up old albums, and then you might go on YouTube, and that's a study. Um, it's an extended period of time where you're consuming the same thing repeatedly. And so an observation, it's not an extended period of time, just a quick glance or a quick review, and then that's it. So that would be my suggestion. That would definitely be my suggestion. So those are my three that I wanted to share tonight as we begin to develop our confidence levels and so that we can master public speaking skills. I think definitely we want to start with exercising our voice, and any opportunity that you have to do so, jump on it, even if it's in a volunteer capacity. And I think that if you're looking for ways to develop the courage to even do so, we have to start by building up our confidence. So it can be internal, it can be external, it can be physical, it can be an emotional confidence as well. And sometimes it's our professional confidence, being secure, knowing that the information that we have is enough and that we are enough to share it. We're not only like capable, but we're competent and we know what we're speaking of. So, whatever that area is of confidence that you have to build, being okay with saying that and then go getting the information so you could be good at presenting it. So, you can be good at presenting it. What questions do you have before we log off? What questions do you have? I'll stand by for a bit so you can share those. Tomorrow starts my official summer tour. I will be on the road through September. Quite a few stops from Pittsburgh, upstate New York, Wisconsin. I'm looking at the calendar. Chicago, DC, and those are the immediate ones. Really excited about that. I'll definitely be showing videos and photos behind the scene, and I look forward to coming back with some really good stories about what I learned while I was on the road. If you don't have any